My name is Hannah, and this is my year of less stuff. Hey y'all, so I'm determined to film myself applying the Artemis palette from Alter Ego, simply because I've gotten so many requests to do so. And this will be the fourth day in a row that I've used it on my eyes, and it's gone really well the first couple of days. So I'm excited to talk to you about that. I have a video already up on my channel with overhead swatches really close up so you can see how the shadows actually look in real life, but I hadn't put it on my eyes. I actually unboxed it on camera and I didn't really know how it would perform. So I'm going to demonstrate it for you. I'm going to talk a little bit about what it's been like to use it and how it's performed for me. And this just came in the mail from Octoly. It's a Pat McGrath product that showed up in my Octoly free store, and I basically lost my mind and requested it. It is something I'm interested in. It's the Dark Star Mascara. Everything about it looks promising to me for my style, the claims, the shape of the brush and everything, but I have to admit I was also just like a little bit starstruck and seduced by the fact that there was a Pat McGrath product in my Octoly free store. So I haven't even opened this yet. I'm going to be trying it on camera for the first time. It's not the best way to try mascaras. I'll come back with a thorough review at a later date because I know that oftentimes the first application of a mascara doesn't really tell the full tale, but I will be putting this on in the video and showing you what it looks like. And there's another kind of funny thing that I've gotten in PR that I want to tell you about. So I'm going to do that right after the transition, but let's go ahead and get into the meat of the video. I'm trying to think the best order of events. I'm going to zoom in. No, I need to tell you about the other PR thing before we zoom in and start doing the makeup. So I'll try to make it quick. But it's this. I mean, it's not this. The box is empty. This was also in my Octoly free store. It's so bananas. It's bread. It is low carb bread. It's keto paleo bread. And I am not on the keto diet all the time, but I am on it intermittently. It's not something that I talk about a lot on my channel. I don't feel like I'm quite like not even quite. I'm definitely not an authority on like food and health and all of that stuff. And I have my own experiments that I do and my own ways of trying to optimize my health, but I feel like it's kind of specific to me. And I don't know, it's something I get a lot of requests to talk about. Like I get a lot of requests for what I eat in a day and that kind of thing. And, you know, I mention it here and there that I try to eat whole foods and that I try not to eat too much processed food and stuff like that, and that I don't eat a lot of grains. I usually don't eat any grains. I've talked about it here and there, but it's not something I feel confident like making content on. However, paleo bread, keto bread, like a bread that's not made out of grains, this one is made out of almond flour, psyllium husks. That's kind of what it's made out of. That kind of thing is right up my alley. I'm always buying stuff like this from the grocery store and from online shops and stuff like that and trying it out because I do love eating bread seeming or carb feeling things that without actually eating like the wheat-based bread that is the traditional bread. So when I saw this in my Octoly free store, I was like, please send that to me because it's the kind of thing I would be buying anyway. And also it's my year of less stuff. So edible PR is like a great prospect for me because it's not like burdening me with more things. It's something that I can get and review and enjoy, and then I eat it up and it's gone. They sent me 2 loaves of bread and the loaves are square. I'll put a picture in right now of the way that the loaf looks. And I have gone through this first loaf so fast. It's really, really good. I'll wrap it up quickly because I know that a lot of you guys don't really care, but it's really, really, really good. I think I can even go so far as to say that I will probably buy it myself from time to time after I finish the other loaf because it's the best non-bread bread that I've ever had. It tastes like a bagel. It toasts up like a bagel. It feels like eating a bagel, and my body has loved it. I felt great eating it, and I'm really impressed. So thanks Uprising Foods for sending this to me. I'm glad to be able to tell those of you who care about this kind of thing about it. Now I'm gonna zoom you in and put some makeup on. All right, we're zoomed all the way in. I'm glad that I talked about the keto bread before zooming in because it would have been really weird to talk about it at this distance. Okay, I'm gonna do like a simple look with just sort of the grungy browns. I have found myself enjoying this palette a lot, but I have only really been doing swampy brown and green looks with it. I haven't touched the bright colors. So I want to represent for you like what I've been using it for. I want to just show you like what I would do with it, and that's what I have been doing. I'm gonna go into this down here. This is one of those cream to powder shadows. It's called Lure. It's very putty-like. In the swatch video, I said it feels kind of like Play-Doh, like over-pigmented Play-Doh. And yeah, that's what it feels like. And I was really concerned about how it would apply and wear on the eyes. But it's been amazing. It's been fully bulletproof. I've actually been shocked at how beautiful the looks have been and how well they've worn. I'm gonna go ahead and apply this without talking so that I can fast forward through the footage. I'm just gonna be putting it on with my finger and creating the shape that I want this color to be in on my lids. So that was really quick. It took less than a minute to do that. And while it's still a little bit damp, because I feel like these cream to powders in this palette, they kind of set a little bit, like they must set because they don't crease on me at all. And yet they feel so creamy when I'm applying them. So before it has a chance to do that, I'm gonna blend it out with a brush. And the other thing that has surprised me about this formula is that it picks up on a brush pretty well, especially my natural hair brushes, my Rephr brushes. And I think that Rephr might have started their affiliate program, the full set discount thing, back up again. I'll double check, but I'll leave the link down below. So the natural hair brushes, they pick these putty formulas up. It's kind of amazing. They pick them up just like as if they were regular. So I'm gonna blend out the edges, but I'll also be applying a little bit more to sort of deepen up the outer part, add dimension, bring it up a little bit higher onto my hooded lids. So there was definitely some shimmer on this brush, the shimmer that I used yesterday to do a similar look, and it all got mixed in, but it's totally fine because I'm gonna put shimmer over the top anyway. I'm just impressed by how far the pigment goes with these cream to powder formulas. I was really suspicious when I was swatching. Every time I touched one, I felt like nothing was coming off onto my finger, and then the product on my finger wouldn't look that impressive. It just didn't feel like it was that intense. But then the swatches all looked pretty good, and that boded well, and that has been borne out. It applies on my eyes the way that it applied in those swatches, even better actually, because the brush can pick up quite a lot, and that really helps. So that's been great, and it's pretty much all I've been doing with this palette since I've gotten it, is applying one of these cream to powder formulas all over the lids, buffing it out, blending it out, and then using some of the shimmers to enhance the look. But before I do the shimmers, I'm gonna put some of this on my lower lash line. I know it's a little bit messy around the outer edges. I am planning to obscure that a little bit by buffing some shimmers out there. But other than that, it's just, I feel like it's so impressive. This is like the one shadow look with this palette. I've gone back in with the Rephr 02, the kind of flat brush, and just kind of shaded some more. So I've like built up darkness where I wanted the look to be darker. I'm trying to even it out between the two eyes. I know this is a little bit of like a rush job, I feel. Something about doing it on camera, it makes it hard to focus on the details. I'm like, I've got to get through the look, but I'm doing my best. I just love looking like this. I love this kind of eye look. I love this kind of like smudgy, messy, kind of like ringed around the eyes. And I love this reddish brown, this like red clay brown color. So I'm going to add a little bit of this Lancome Kohl liner to my waterline and buff that into the shadow. All right, I am going to start with a fluffy brush to put in the shimmer, which isn't what I usually do, but because these shadows, these shimmer shadows, aren't really like the glitter, like they're not really that suspended wet look kind of gummy glitter shadow that is in some of the Natasha Denona palettes, and that is also in my Tom Ford duo. They aren't that, they're regular shimmers, right? So I'm gonna use Scent, which is this one. And you can see that it's a full-blown eyeshadow, it's not a topper. So if I apply it with my fingers, it's going to lay down a thick layer, and I don't want that. I just kind of want to brush it over the centers of my lids and up underneath my brows, and then a little bit around the outside edge. Actually, to go around the outside edge and underneath my brows, I'm gonna use Obscure, this pale one, which is the one that when I was doing the swatch video, I said I could see myself never using that eyeshadow again, and I've actually used it every single time I've used this palette. Classic. Amazing. I'm gonna do that first. So I'm gonna take Obscure on this slightly fluffy brush, and I'm going to go under and around. I mean, under my brows and around the edges. Just a light wash. And now I'm going to work in some of Scent, which is that kind of greeny, shifty one that I was showing you. And I actually am going to put a little bit of Scent right on the center of the lid with my fingers. It's amping up the look a little bit more than I have been over the past couple of days, but what can I say? I'm carried away. That's it, y'all. That's a version of what I have done every day since I started using this palette. I got really good results with Prowl, which is this, like, ooh, look at it. It's so good. When I used this one all over my lids, I didn't obscure as much of it with the shimmer shades as I have done today. I also did a version of it with Quiver, which is very similar to what I did today, but it's just a little bit lighter and actually a little bit warmer than Lure, the one that I used today. And I also have used Thrill, which is kind of similar to Prowl. I mean, they are really similar. It's just a little bit more green and less of like a sort of a brownie green. And it's all worked out really well, and I've been using various shimmers to complete the look. But stylistically and technique-wise, all of them have gone down pretty much the way that it just went down. Let's try the mascara. So here's the outer packaging, which I haven't even opened yet. It is so beautiful. It is so beautiful. I love the aesthetic of Pat McGrath packaging. I mean, I absolutely love it. And this is a brand I haven't really gotten into. I feel like I tried one thing at one time. Sorry, I just had to take a pause to fix my brows. But while I was doing it, I remembered what I have tried from Pat McGrath, which is the lip products. I have been given some minis of Pat McGrath lipsticks as gifts from time to time, and I actually really do love the formula of her matte lipsticks, which is what I've tried, but I don't really like mini lipsticks and bullets, so I've passed all of those on. I haven't actually kept any of them. Cute. Okay, so it's gold and has pink writing, pink like typewriter style writing on it. I don't know if you can see that. And the brush, it looks like the kind of mascara wand that I have traditionally had the most success with, although lately I have been enjoying spiky rubber bristle brushes. I have really loved the effect of that spiky brush on the Gucci mascara, and I've actually been kind of getting along well with Lash Freak, which is the new Urban Decay mascara. I am going to review that soon in a video. It's just that this one takes precedence because I'm so excited to try it. So I've been enjoying that kind of brush, but over my long history of wearing mascara, this kind of brush, which I think of as the Dior Show brush, because that was like one of the first mascaras that I really, really loved back in the day, it's always been my favorite. So that bodes well. Let's see how it goes. So far, I love it. So I always put several coats of mascara on. I'm just doing my thing. And I think that so far it's promising. It definitely hasn't caused all of my lashes to clump together. The first layer that it's put down has felt pretty volumizing. I'm gonna keep going, keep layering it on, and we'll see where we end up. In terms of like Hannah Louise Poston mascara application, this is what I consider to be one coat. And it's giving me that Better Than Sex fluffiness, right? It reminds me of the Better Than Sex mascara in that it's applying mascara to the lashes, but it's also, it's making it feel like they're multiplying a little bit, like they're kind of fluffing up. And I really like that. And I also got a spot on my nose, so that's great because we'll be able to see if it's relatively easy to clean it up after it dries. I'm gonna put some on my lower lashes and then another layer on my top lashes. The second coat is really giving it to me. It's really coming out. I feel like its qualities, its potential is really coming out. Its potential, its qualities are really coming out, and its potential is really coming out. Subject verb disagreement. So I had no trouble removing that little spot that had gotten on the inside part of my nose. I scraped it off with the back of a bobby pin, and then I removed the little bit that was left just with my finger. It was on bare skin, so I'm not surprised that it was easy to remove, but the point was that the mascara did dry pretty quickly and then it flaked off pretty easily. So even if I had gotten it on my eye look, I think it wouldn't have been too hard to pick it off and repair the damage. So that is good to know. And I kind of feel like this is the beginning of a long and beautiful friendship between me and the Dark Star mascara. Not a long and beautiful friendship by which I like repurchase this over and over, because you guys know that I don't consider high-end mascaras to be a good use of my personal beauty budget, because any mascara is only going to last 3, 4, maybe 5 months. And so it adds up really quickly to be spending high-end prices on a product that's replaced that frequently. And there are so many good drugstore options. But all signs point to this being the beginning of a beautiful relationship between me and this one tube of Pat McGrath Dark Star mascara that I received for review. I'm really excited to be able to use it up, report back. I feel like if it gets better within the first week or two, which almost always happens with a mascara, no matter how well a mascara performs right out of the gate, it almost always gets better after a week or two and then stays at that quality of performance for most of the duration of its life. That's my experience. If that happens with this, if it gets even better than this, that'll be amazing because it has performed beautifully for me today. This is just what I like to see in a mascara. Oh, the last thing I wanted to mention was that the lid primer, the Alter Ego primer, which I had primed So I had primed my lids before I even started because I put on the rest of my makeup and then just left my eyes because I was going to do those on camera. And I primed these I primed them with this while I was putting on the rest of my makeup because that's the order in which I do things. And I forgot to tell you before I went in with the eyeshadow. I've been testing this eyeshadow base for the past several days as I've been testing the palette. And the thing that has been really shocking to me about the palette is how bulletproof the looks have been, because I was worried with that cream formula because it feels so creamy, especially some of them, especially those browns. They feel so creamy and they apply so creamily that I was worried that they would crease on me. And the looks have looked exactly the same at the end of the day. Endurance-wise, I almost feel like they've outperformed many of my other eyeshadows. That's been really great, and I'm glad to be able to report that back to you. But I've also been using the Alter Ego eyeshadow base. So I don't know how much of it is the palette and how much of it is the base because this is also new to me. All I can tell you is that the two of them in conjunction have in some way been making eye looks like this last a really long time. So that's good to know, and I'm excited to keep using this. I might actually set it aside and finish up the one that I have from Urban Decay because it's on its last legs, and then pull this out and make it my one and only. All of this, though, I will give more reviews of. This isn't exactly a first impressions of the eyeshadow and the primer because this is the 4th time I've tried them, but I will circle back in my reckoning when I'm telling you what I am keeping and what I'm not keeping, and talk about my decision with that palette and how it's worn for me. And of course, I'll be doing the same with the mascara, so keep an eye out. Thanks for hanging out with me. I hope that you enjoyed this one, everyone, and I hope that you are remembering to take extra good care of yourself today so that you can be the most effective version of yourself as you do your work in the world.